Hey everyone, welcome back to another Anime Kingdom review. See by the title below, yes, this is on episode 9 and episode 10 of Boruto. And yes, guys, I am back from my trip. If you did not know, for this past week and everything, if you were wondering why the hell there has not been any episode reviews or any videos, period, that is because I've been on a little vacation trip with my family. Thus, I only came back a couple days, and yes, that still means that this episode, review is late. I am sorry about that, but I've just been busy since I did get back and everything. Finally, I was able to make this review, and if you didn't go ahead and see my Facebook post or my Twitter post or the vlog that I created, you're also probably wondering why this says it's a episode 9 and 10 review. And that's pretty much because, like, when I went on a trip, like in the winter time, I did the same thing where I wanted to do a double episode review, and thus that is why I'm doing it for this time. Of course, the only difference for this, I'm going to talk about the format now, is that I wanted to make it so, I understand that some of you guys don't really care. It's the new week already. You want to know my opinions and thoughts for this current week's episode, not last week's episode. So if you want to just skip over that, in the description below will be a start of episode 10 review, and it'll give you a time where you can click on it and immediately go to that review instead. If you want, of course, stay and, hear my thoughts on episode 9 as well, then feel free to do, that would be awesome if you want to do that. If you don't, there's no hard feelings, go ahead. I completely understand, honestly, why you wouldn't want to and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. Another thing that's kind of different than that I did the winter time when I went on a trip, was that this time, instead of what I did before was pretty much I would watch both episodes and then make a huge one take of my review and just talk about both sides. This time instead, so I don't spoil myself and kind of have the same feelings, when you guys are hearing my thoughts and opinions on it, that when I talk about episode 9, at least it won't be anything spoiled from already watching episode 10. So what's going on is I'm going to watch episode 9, make the review, watch episode 10, make the review, put them together. Thus, that's how this video is, was made and everything. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. I just wanted to clarify and, explain to you if you were kind of wondering what's going on, why there hasn't been any videos, or why this is a little late, why this is a double, episode review. And of course, the format, if you're wondering what the heck, how this format even works, well, that is, just want to explain that to you guys and everything. So yeah, let's get on to how I felt about episode 9 of Boruto, because honestly, I was pretty excited to see how this episode would go. I kind of already knew that, Boruto, this was probably not going to work, because obviously he doesn't have the Byakugan. That's not what he has. We all know what he has, or can pretty much assume already what he really does have, and that is not the Byakugan. So we kind of already knew that it was going to fail, but instead of him, fighting against Hiyashi, to which I was pretty excited to see how that would be, considering how old he is already, but instead he goes against Hanabi, to which I gotta say, I love Hanabi's character. She's honestly, my favorite. It's funny to say because it's none of the regular girls, but I actually really like Hanabi, how much she's changed from how she was in Naruto and everything. She's definitely grown in looks, and I mean her personality has definitely changed as well, considering how she acted before. But that's pretty much how all the Hyugas acted before Naruto pretty much changed them, but overall, it was just pretty cool to see her fighting, of course, Boruto. And then at first it seemed like she was just there was no care in the world. She was just taking him out like nothing. Boruto had no chance, and I mean, that's understandable. Towards the end, it looked like Boruto may have a chance, but of course she just ends up using that rotation jutsu that Neji used, to which I actually didn't even know anyone else really learned that, so it's pretty cool to see that. Or did I? Actually, I can't really remember, because it's been a while since I've watched Naruto or even read the manga, since I read it, finished it, and decided I'm not going to watch the the anime until the very end. I just started to watch the episodes that weren't really in the manga, just to see how it was, because honestly, usually I just like to read the manga because I don't care for the fillers. But with Boruto, I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll watch the anime for you guys and everything, and see how the anime is as well, because I started watching Naruto before I read the manga and everything, so we'll just see how it goes on from here and everything, so yeah, overall, it was cool to see that fight in the beginning. It wasn't like the most amazing fight, but it was definitely something cool to watch, to see Hanabi after all these years and everything, and how much she has changed, kind of just like how it was, Shino didn't show his full-on powers and everything, but it was just cool to see how he is now, when he is older as well, you know, years from what we saw in Naruto. So overall, that's pretty much the reason why I thought it was cool, but it wasn't like the most amazing fight in the world. We still haven't gotten a fight that has literally knocked my shoes off or just made me just like in awe and just at the edge of my seat. We have not seen that yet, though it may happen sooner or later, because obviously it's got to happen sometime soon. This is still the beginning part, so it's still introduction and everything for everything, so I'm okay with that. But I'm pretty sure sooner or later we're gonna get some crazy fight, and I honestly cannot wait to see that. But yeah, this episode is more of just showing Boruto kind of, obviously it's not the Byakugan, but we see that Naruto does believe him in the end, because of how normally, this is one of the things I do like about this, is that the contrast difference between Naruto and Boruto, even though they are similar in a lot of ways, is the fact of how they were raised. And Naruto, he had to train really hard for everything to get what he wanted, to become who he is and everything, while Boruto is more of, he gets a lot of things handed over to him easily. He takes a lot of shortcuts, and that's why he doesn't really train as much either. And that's why you see that there is a huge difference between them, and I do like that contrast between them. But it's also why Naruto was able to understand that he was, he may not have the Byakugan, but he does believe in there's something going on that Boruto does have, because of how hard Boruto did try against Hanabi. Because normally he probably wouldn't, he would just, if he just wanted the attention, to which I can definitely see why Naruto would think that, he would not have tried as hard as he was when he went against Hanabi. And that's another thing, is I loved the kind of the showing of the relationship between Naruto and of course Hiyashi, that kind of father-in-law, son-in-law kind of relationship that they do have. I did enjoy that scene sorry, along with the Hanabi and Boruto scene. I did love seeing the relationship between father-in-law and son-in-law, and auntie and nephew and everything. I did enjoy seeing those kind of scenes. It's really nice to see the kind of relationships showing between the two of them, especially with Naruto and Hiyashi, with how we saw how they were before and everything, and then this time, Boruto kind of not, Hinabi figuring out Boruto is hiding something from his father, but not really, she's not going to say anything, luckily, but he was like, what? How do you know? And it's like, yeah, she knows, because the Byakugan is all seeing and everything, but that's not really how it is. It's just, like they said, normally that you could tell a lot from a spar and everything. That's how she ended up learning about him, not really what it is, but that there is something he's hiding. And then of course the rest of the episode was the whole kind of someone else controlled by the shadow, which that movie star guy who ended up becoming super fat, and that's why his the sequel was canceled, and he ends up Boruto fighting him along with Sarada as well. So that was pretty much the episode. Overall, I didn't really care for the second half. I did enjoy the whole Nabi part. I did enjoy the Hiyashi and Naruto part. Those parts I did enjoy, but like the last half, it's kind of just like how every single time it happens, there's a dude consumed by the shadow. He starts trying to attack them. They start trying to fight him, and in the end, they end up beating them somehow, and thus the shadow disappears, and that's the end of the episode. But yeah, that's all I really gotta say about episode 9, guys. So this is where I'm going to start. We're gonna take a little cut and get to episode 10. So in 3, 2, 1, and here we are at the episode 10 review portion of the video. I gotta say, honestly, I did not really care for this episode. I actually enjoyed episode 9 a lot more. The first half, at least. The second half I didn't really care for too much. But this episode, it was honestly, it went back to just the normal, them trying to find, more of the shadow, or the ghost incident as they call it now. And nothing really comes out of this episode besides until the very end. It was mostly them just going around, everyone going to kind of doing some other job, which both of them end up doing a job at a mailing facility, to which of course they end up screwing up because they cut corners and just rush through everything, throwing the letters everywhere. Thus, of course, the next day everything goes bad. But then again, all of the kids did something bad. We saw like the fireworks facility, boom. We saw Metal and the, firefighters, and him just like flying the water everywhere when they were supposed to take out the fire. So it's not like both of them were the only ones that failed, but obviously they weren't really trying. But most of the episode was just them talking, trying to figure out what they're gonna do, how to find the shadow, and then of course decides with all the adults, Hinata them. Got to see Hinata, that was cool. Got a cute moment between her and Naruto talking about Boruto when he was sleeping and everything. And those moments were fine, but it's mostly just this episode was kind of just everyone thinking that Boruto is doing this for attention, to which they're not completely wrong. It is kind of like that. You know, Boruto is doing this kind of to show Naruto that he can do that, you know, before Naruto then finished, so he can prove them wrong, kind of thing, on how they view him in a way. He wants to show that he can do this without their help, kind of thing. And I kind of get that. He kind of wants attention. He's kind of just like Naruto. Hinata does, you know, say it, you know, pretty much precisely how it really is, honestly, between them and everything, and how they really are similar in a lot of ways. I said I love the contrast between them in the last episode, but it is true that there's a lot of similarities between them as well, considering they are father and son, so it does make sense, obviously. So even though they are raised kind of differently, things still are kind of the same at, you know, in the same time. So overall, that part, it was, you know, it's moments like that that make the episode okay, but overall it was kind of just them running around, having, you know, trying to throw mail around, trying to figure out these kind of things so they can go and, you know, look for the shadow, the ghost, and that's about it. The cool part in this episode that I did enjoy, of course, was seeing Sai again. That was pretty cool, but it's pretty much the whole fact that it is actually this ghost incident, this, you know, thing that is sucking up the chakra, may actually be a Foundation, you know, weapon that was created by some maybe ex-Foundation members, and it's actually like made with using the Hashirama cell and everything, and that's why there has been traces of wood, you know, like obviously you saw there was like a little sapling growing from underneath the bench where that one guy went crazy, and that was like, you know, the only cool part for me, at least. It's kind of like I said before, in these episodes they have most of the episode, honestly, in my opinion, kind of useless stuff going on, just filler in my opinion, just them running around. And then of course there's that little bit of parts that, you know, go towards the main plot, which is of course what the hell this chakra, you know, monster thing is, and that's the part that always interests me. And hopefully in this next episode, now that we saw the ending cliffhanger, which was the class rep getting hurt at the water purification center, and of course someone going berserk, maybe we'll get some cool action, maybe we'll get some answers and everything with, you know, Boruto in his eye, maybe with, you know, what the heck this, you know, this Hashirama cell weapon is really. That's all we can really hope for at this moment. I gotta say that, you know, I really didn't care for this episode as much. Like I said, the last episode, episode 9, that one was pretty good. I did enjoy the first half. The second half was kind of back to its normal, you know, how Boruto usually has been, and then this one, most of the episode was just how Boruto has been, except for, you know, some parts like with the Sai thing and them figuring out what this weapon may be, and of course the moments between Hinata and Naruto were nice, but other than that it was kind of just the same old, and honestly kind of boring in my opinion, at least. But yeah, that's all I really gotta say, guys. Hope you enjoyed this Anime Kingdom double episode review. If you have any questions on either episode 8 or episode 9, episode 9 or episode 10, getting mixed up right there, feel free to comment below. If there's anything I missed and you want to talk about, comment below as well. And if you did enjoy it, leave a like. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. And until next time, guys, see ya.